This program contains content that may disturb some viewers.
On the water operations.
The people smugglers and their customers.
To stop the boats, so be it. Stop the deaths and to stop the boats. Operation Sovereign Borders continues to succeed. The public want the boats stopped. In accordance with our legal obligations, if we stop the boats, we stop the deaths. People smugglers.
We have to stop the boats.
To the people smugglers, we're at war.
$1.3 billion. Our borders are simply out of control.
This is Jake. Jake is a 7-year-old dog that is no different to others. He pees, poops, eats, sleeps. He does everything any other dog would. But some don't like Jake. Some think Jake is an Australian simply because he came here by boat. This is a story of a mutt's dire need for help. A story of a canine's journey to create a better life for himself. A story of a hound's grief and sorrow. This is Jake's story. Jake started his life-changing journey in Syria. Jake still has friends and family in Syria, and he misses them dearly. But he loves his new life here, and owes it all to his mum and dad, as they were the one that paid for his journey. Some could argue that people smugglers are exploiting their customers, but if you had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, trying to escape death, would you do anything to have a better life like Jake did? Jake's boat was one of the last to reach Australia's shore. Luckily for Jake, the Australian government granted him a temporary protection visa. Even though this was lucky, it has crippled Jake, as he is not allowed to work. He can't leave the country and come back. He can't bring his family over, and has to live on bone and biscuit for food. Why are the Australian people so scared of Jake? Look at him. He's harmless. He's actually contributing towards society through volunteer work. So what is the big deal with asylum seekers? Some argue that asylum seekers are stealing our jobs, jumping the queue, and that we are doing enough letting in 14,000 refugees a year. I think that is bullshit. How are they stealing our jobs if they can't even work? There shouldn't be a queue of refugees, and Australia doesn't do enough. We could easily take 50,000 refugees with the wealth we have. Why are we so bitter towards asylum seekers? The way we have dealt with the problem isn't the best either. Locking people up for no reason, without sufficient food, shelter or water. Turning boats back. I don't think you've ever been turned back, but Jake has. He told us that it's a horrible experience. Why are we so cruel towards asylum seekers? This problem needs to be addressed now. The Australian government needs to open their eyes and realise that they had a hand in the conflicts that is causing the refugee crisis. They need to take responsibility and accept more refugees and asylum seekers into our country. Australia is already a multicultural country. You can find a Chinese restaurant in any city or town, but I cannot think of one Middle Eastern restaurant. So let's extend our multiculturalism. Let's start with granting Jake a permanent visa, allowing him to work, allowing him to bring his family over, allowing him to live the life he's always wanted to live. Let's start a change together and end this stupid debate.